Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning to some, good afternoon to others. Hello and welcome to Living Authentically Live. I am Coach LaShonda, CEO of Walk in Favor Life Coaching, as well as the founder of Living Authentically, a movement which I'm super, super excited to say now includes 800, close to 800 women across the United States and abroad. What is it that I do? I help women who struggle with getting unstuck discover resilience so they own their brilliance. You know, in times of challenge and difficulties, right? My clients are able to bounce back stronger than before, which really enables them to live a life of happiness, success, and fulfillment, regardless of the circumstances. And they're able to do this without fear, without shame, or without apologies. And so I am excited to work in this space. And so listen, today I want to talk about how to thrive during times of chaos. When times are tough and life looks different, it's important to find that strength and clarity you need to make the best of chaotic and difficult circumstances. For example, a perfect example is our current COVID-19 global crisis, right? Therefore, my goal today is to provide you with ideas on how to effectively work through and thrive during chaotic and uncertain times. And so I want you to think about this. During chaotic times, it is very important that we are proactive with how we handle things. Would you agree? It's so easy during a crisis to react and overreact emotionally to the unfolding events and circumstances of our lives, which of course never really helps improve the situation and often just aggravate matters even further. And so what I wanted to do is to jump on, because I work with my private space to help them overcome, get from where they are to where they wanted to be. But I really wanted to jump in on this public arena. And so over the next few broadcasts, starting today, I want to guide you through how to handle chaotic moments in your life where everything you thought you knew has been suddenly turned up on its head. So we're not just talking about the coronavirus, we're talking about any circumstances, any situations that show up as adversity or that show up as challenges. I want you to know that you already have the power and the strength to overcome, but you may not be operating in it. And so that's why I will be breaking down 4 key areas that you need to address so that you can make the most of your circumstances and thrive during chaotic times. And so today I'm not going to talk about all 4. I only want to address one. And I want you to think about this. How many of you are parents? How many of you are parents? Right? I'm a parent. How many of you are spouses? I'm a spouse. How many of you have siblings or family members that just really are uneasy or they are on edge about this coronavirus? They don't know what to do, right? And so I remember reading on a social media post, and I just really want to paint the picture to lead in to what I want to share with you as the one thing that you really have to focus on today. I was reading on a social media post where a young lady was sharing with her audience that she walked in on her child, her teenage child, drinking cough medicine. And she said that she knew he didn't have a cold or a fever or anything like that. And so naturally, she wanted to know, hey, why are you drinking this cough medicine? And her response actually just really touched my heart. The response that she wrote touched my heart. And she said that her teenage son told her that he was taking cough medicine because he was trying to prevent from getting the coronavirus. And so really what he was sharing with his mom is that I'm scared. You know, they're talking about if you get this virus, you're going to die. Your immune system, you're not going to be able to breathe. And so really what he was sharing is I'm scared. I'm fearful. And it's not something that he directly went to his mom to talk about. It was just something that he felt, I'm a young man. I'm going to take matters in my own hand. And so today, one of the first things I want to bring to your attention out of the four, and again, I'm only going to talk about one today, but over the next few days, I'm going to eventually get to all four areas that you absolutely want to address. But today, I really want to share with you the concept of adopting a role model mindset. If you are looking to thrive during times of chaos, you must really be the one to say, I'm going to adopt a role model mindset. And so what that requires is you making a commitment to being an inspiring role model for those around you. You know, I have a teenage son. He's 18 years old, and I make it my business to communicate with him effectively about what's going on, the do's and the don'ts, because I don't want him to walk around in fear. And now it's at a point where whenever he hears something in the news, he makes sure that he consult with me so that he can get clarity on it. And so when you adopt this role model mindset, and I'm going to share with you how to do it, this is especially important during times of chaos and crisis when people are looking for someone to guide them through the difficulties that they face. And so as you adopt a role model mindset, you naturally start taking the lead. You no longer choose to play the victim role, but rather you take responsibility for your circumstance, and then you become accountable for your choices, for your behaviors, and your actions. All right. And so as a role model, and stick with me because I have some incredible self-reflection questions at the end that is really going to help you really hone in on this particular strategy. And so as a role model, it's of course important that you set a good example and make decisions that serve the greater good of all. And so you are no longer just looking after your own needs and interests. You are instead looking after the needs of those around you, which right now is your family. And so your decisions are therefore based on the best interests of the people that you actually serve. And so remember that as a role model, people are looking up to you. They will naturally feed off your energy and look for direction during troubled times. Let me share with you. I have this community, like I said, of close to 800 women, and they are in the United States and they are abroad. But guess what? Corona is everywhere. COVID-19 is everywhere. And so I took it upon myself to create a platform for these women to come to Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, where we get an opportunity to take their mind off of what's happening right now. Yes, they still look at the news because they need to be aware. But here's the thing. Coronavirus or COVID-19 is not going to always be. And so right now I am personally, along with 3 other women, we are working on how we can help them develop a plan to live beyond the virus. So once all of this is clear and life goes back to how it was, how are you going to be better? I don't want you to be the same. I want you to be better, because that's what resilience is all about, is being able to take the challenge, being able to take the difficulties and come out bigger, better, and stronger than before. And so people are going to naturally feed off your energy and look for direction during troubled times. And so if you are setting a good example, then you become an emotional rock. I get messages constantly from these same women saying, I'm so grateful that you established this platform for us because it's allowing me to be free in my mind. I'm not going to bed with fear or worry. I'm going to bed with expectations. As a matter of fact, some of the women that I work with right now are getting promotions in their jobs. They're getting financial increase because they're thinking beyond today. And so I'm excited to be an emotional rock for others, right? During their difficult time. And so being an emotional rock means showing strength, demonstrating patience while acting and thinking calmly amid the turmoil that is going on around you. So let me share with you what those things is. What does it mean to demonstrate strength? Well, you demonstrate strength by proactively controlling your emotions and perspective of the situation. Yes, it's easy to be pessimistic. But are you able to be optimistic? Are you able to look at the glass and see that, yes, it may be half empty, but it's also half full? What do I mean? You're at home with your family. When was the last time you had this much time to spend with your family to find out, hey, what are your concerns? Where do you need prayer? What are you struggling with? What can I help you with? Doing movie nights, game nights, eating dinner together. See, that's demonstrating strength, controlling your emotions. Yes, it's easy. It's easy to worry. It's easy to walk in fear. It's easy to be insecure right now. But can you walk in security? Can you walk in faith? Right? And when you're able to control your emotions and your perspective, it literally shows resilience during these troubled times because you refuse to be fazed by the predicament or by the circumstances. At the end of the day, we can prevent ourselves and our household from getting this coronavirus. We don't have to get it. So don't be the person talking about sooner or later it's going to show up. Right? So make sure that you are demonstrating strength. Also, I want to make sure that you are demonstrating calmness by continually staying grounded and centered in the midst of the chaos. And you can do this by taking time throughout the day to just center yourself using meditation, using visualization and breathing techniques. Make sure that you are centered. Make sure that you are grounded. All right? Demonstrate patience. And you do this by making decisions with thought and careful consideration. So make sure not to rush into something head first without first thinking things through. Think things through prudently before choosing your next steps. And then show patience with people. Look, this is a difficult time. People will do uncharacteristic things, okay? They're going to do uncharacteristic things. Acknowledge their reality. Honor their feelings, right? And patiently help guide them through to a more optimal direction. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? All right, good stuff. So I see you on. And so those of you who are Facebook, hey, those of you who are YouTube, hey, those of you who are on the other social media platforms, thank you so much for joining. And so I want to give you some tactical questions to really ask yourself. And these tactical questions is going to really help you put ideas into daily practice. That's all it's going to do. Help you put this idea of being this role model into daily practice. And so to fully integrate these concepts into your life, you will need to turn these questions into progressive, say it with me, progressive and achievable action steps. And the first step towards doing that is to write out your answers to each questions in a journal or workbook. So I'm going to give you the questions. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have them go across the screen. I want you to write these questions in a workbook, but don't just stop there. Okay. I also want you to answer each question, because only in this way will you gain the all right. Hey, that's what happens when you go live. Your words can get screwed all up. You're going to gain the necessary clarity you need to make lasting changes in your life. You know what? My mentor said this. He said, LaShonda, Don't take yourself so seriously because no one else does. Now, he wasn't putting me down, but all he was saying was lighten up. Be free. It's okay to laugh at yourself because laughter is good for the soul. All right. So here's some questions. And I want you to focus on these questions. And I also want you to focus on writing answers. Okay. And so let me bring these questions up. So the first question that I want you to ask yourself and answer is, who is relying on me to set a good example? Is your spouse relying on you? What about your children, your grandchildren? Who is relying on you to set a good example? Write that down because now it tells you that other people are looking at you and you want to make sure that you are setting an example that will help them move forward and eliminate the fear or minimize the fear. All right. And so who is relying on me to set a good example? Here's the second question. What kind of role model would I like to have during times of crisis? Now you're taking yourself out of the equation from being the leader, and you're now saying, you know what? If I had a role model, what would I like to see from them? Because whatever it is that you would literally like to see out of them, that's who you would like to become. And for those of you who are just now joining on, thank you so much. I appreciate you jumping on and giving me your time. Today, we're talking about how to thrive in the midst of chaos, right? And so I've already shared quite a few tips. And so once the broadcast is over, feel free to go back and take a look at the beginning so that you can make sure that you are equipped, all right? And so this is the second question that I want you to write in your journal, but I also want you to answer. What kind of role model would I like to have during times of crisis? Here's the third question. What decisions would a role model make in this situation? Right? That is a powerful question because it's going to keep you on the right track. So what decisions would a role model make in this particular situation? And the beauty is we're talking about what we're dealing with today, but guess what? You may have a crisis that show up in your personal life where it's not affecting the whole world. It's just affecting you. And so these are some of the same questions that you want to ask yourself, because again, remember, I help women who struggle with getting unstuck discover resilience so they own their brilliance. And so these are questions that will help you walk in that resilience. All right. So here's another question that you want to write in your journal and ask. What criteria would a role model use to make decisions when faced with such difficulties? See, you're taking the emotions out of the decision-making process, and now you're adding strategy. And one of the things I teach my clients, a 7-step model on problem solving and decision-making, because think about it, emotions are fickle. Let's just say it is. Emotions are fickle, right? And so if you are having a good day, your decisions may reflect you having a good day. But if you're having a bad day, your decisions may reflect you having a bad day. So I don't want you making decisions out of emotions. I want you making decisions out of strategy. And so that's why I teach my clients the 7-step process on making decisions. And when they use it, their decisions be spot on, their solutions be spot on, because it's not emotional, it's strategic. All right. And so here's another question. What would it be helpful for a role model to believe during this chaos? This is key, because whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you are right. So your belief is so critical right now. You know, if you believe that this is going to be your new normal, then guess what? You're going to start rearranging your whole life to fit the circumstances of today. And this is not my new normal. This is just a temporary situation. This is not how I'm going to live my life permanently, where I'm stuck in the house 24/7, only can go out 2 or 3 days out of a week to go to the grocery store. I can't go to my place of worship. I can't. No, this is not going to be my new normal. So what do you believe during this situation? Think about it. If you believe that you're going to get this virus, then more than likely you're going to get this virus, because everything follows your belief. And so when you think about you stepping up to be a role model, it is so important that you check your beliefs, because if you don't believe the best and you believe the worst, then the worst is probably going to show up. All right. And so this is a key question. Not only do I want you to write it in your journal, but you got to also answer this question. And then here's another question. How would a role model think and act in this situation? How would a role model think and act in this situation? The reason why the actions are so key is because actions render results. All right. And then here's the last question. How will I generate the mental strength I need to get through this successfully? Look, in order to get through all of this, you have to develop your mental capacity. You know, I think about the workers who are working in the hospitals every single day. They're seeing death. Every single day, they're seeing death. Some of them could possibly end up with post-traumatic stress syndrome. If they're not feeding themselves mentally, guess what? Your neighbor, someone in your household, can end up with post-traumatic stress syndrome, because our way of life got switched just like this. And so you want to make sure that you are pouring into you so that you can have the mental strength to get on the other side. All right. And so today, again, I just wanted to show up on social media and share with you how to really begin to thrive in the midst of chaos. Because when times are tough and life looks different, it's important to find the strength and clarity you need to make the best out of chaotic as well as difficult circumstances. And so there are 4 areas that you need to address today. I only wanted to cover only one. And so tomorrow, join me as I share with you the second area that you want to focus on to be able to help you, your family, and those around you thrive in the midst of chaos. All right. And so listen, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Same time. Well, maybe I'll make it a little bit later. You'll see the broadcast, but definitely look forward to seeing you, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.